You might be wondering why I'm pretty pissed off right now. When I say my ears are for sale, I didn't mean just go and make your own ears. Guys, you're stealing my design. Stop it. I mean, if you want to make your own ears, use a different color. Not my colors. That's stealing.
I never thought I'd see the captain from WALL-E claim to invent a color scheme. So someone I've been keeping track of for the past few months. And by that I mean occasionally watching videos on it, since I don't use the CIA torture tool known as TikTok, is someone named Cierra Green / ICierra, who's been relatively notorious the past year. And while she isn't Daniel Larson levels of infamous, whose current prison time would make you think he's the second coming of Dahmer, well, at least supposedly for now, she's still known for being extremely weird in her TikToks, harassing people and generally making decisions that would make Kanye West look mentally sound. However, the more people find out about her, the worse it seems to get. So I finally decided to cover this after a while of procrastinating. But while you're at it, make sure to smash the like and subscribe button before I smash your mom, and make sure to join the Discord server, where you can chat with fellow schizos, post unfunny memes, and check out the Cheese channel. Why would you want to miss out? Anyway, Cierra Green is a furry TikToker who more than anything is known for all the weird shit she's done over the years, such as the aforementioned ears from the intro, which gives Chris Chan's Sonichu medallion vibes. And like Chris Chan, she takes it way too seriously, to the point of genuinely being mad at people who want to copy her design, despite the fact her arts and crafts project is literally just 2 colors, where you can find TikToks of this seething, glue-eating Neanderthal ranting about these people, even though it's pretty hard to take this inbred bling bling boy seriously when she's trying to claim that she invented 2 triangles. Even in this early stage of her infamy, she still wasn't a stranger to controversy, like the many times she's made homophobic and anti-LGBTQ comments. Why the fuck did that take so many tries to say? Where people would rightly call her out, since it doesn't take an Einstein to know that homophobia is bad, which apparently never clicked in the 5 brain cells floating around in her bowling ball shaped skull. It's also ironic since she's a furry and also a hell of a boss stan, 2 communities that are primarily LGBTQ. And what's even more ironic is that she would claim to be asexual, due to her pretty consistent rules for thee but not for me mentality. And when she would eventually respond to the backlash, I say eventually as if she doesn't spend most of her life online like an energy drink addicted troglodyte, she would cite the Bible as her source and probably also the schizophrenic ramblings in her head. People would also get upset with her after she lip-synced a song with the N-word in it, and would claim that she was racist, which unlike the other time, I'm gonna be real, is pretty fucking stupid, as not only was it from a song, she was also lip-syncing it, not even being the one singing the lyrics, and saying she's racist just because of that takes some Olympics level mental gymnastics. However, she would fuck this up too, as she would go on to do it even more just to spite them, only to throw a tantrum when people get mad at her, which is like sticking your dick in a beehive and getting angry that you got stung. But speaking on hypocrisy, the whole ears incident would show that as well, since it's bitterly ironic that she would treat it like art theft only to do the exact same thing later, where in a TikTok she would use someone's drawing without credit or consent, not that she cares about either, and even going as far as to not show the watermark, so the people that watched her content obviously thought it was made by her, even if she does have about as much talent as a tech startup on Shark Tank. And when the actual creator of the art found out about this, she made a video calling out Cierra, and when she made a response video on it, where she would claim that she actually assumed that people would already know it and didn't bother crediting it, which is an argument that would only be sound if you had a room temperature IQ like her, since not only did she go out of her way to not show the watermark, you can't just assume that everyone is gonna know who drew what, since the average human doesn't have psychic powers and won't know that a small artist on TikTok made it. And it's not like you used the goddamn Mona Lisa. And while she didn't blatantly lie and say that she was the one who drew it, we all know what she was trying to do. And I know that it's pretty stupid for me to debunk an argument that even a decrepit old man with Alzheimer's wouldn't fall for, but it's pretty hard to even know what to say besides stating the obvious. But it's not surprising how she gets into so much controversy all the time, when she hates criticism as much as she hates people having personal boundaries, such as the many times she lashes out at random people, whether that be random people on TikTok, commenters, even children, since she acts like a real-life Bikini Bottom resident. But whenever she does decide to apologize for something, which is likely decided by a coin flip, she'll often blame her autism, or just say that's why people are hating her. However, like I said in the Birdie video, I'm not a psychiatrist, but last time I checked, autism doesn't make you treat people like garbage, and people like this are why I feel bad for people with autism who have a functioning frontal lobe and moral compass. And it's pretty sad how people will stoop this low to come up with an excuse to save face. But speaking about not caring about consent, that's also something she commonly does, as she's been known to be pretty creepy, being the real-life equivalent of Sarah from The Amazing World of Gumball, such as her creepy obsessions with people such as Stephen Irwin and Robbie Rotten, who have both been dead for a long time, and it doesn't take a genius to understand that that's pretty gross and creepy. While I understand that celebrity crushes are one thing, this woman is almost in her 30s, and her weird TikTok fanfic edits really don't help her case, which give Yandere Simulator vibes, which is also pretty fitting because both are pretty creepy around children. Her fanfic videos consist of stories where she edits herself into pictures, such as scenes in Lazy Town with Robbie Rotten, which are truly works of art. Another thing she's been known for is harassing people into dating her, or just straight up claiming that she's dating someone when said person doesn't even consent to it, that is, if they even know about her in the first place. She has quite the thing for parasocial relationships, acting scarily similar to a 13-year-old Dream SMP stan, but it's even worse since she's more than twice that age. One of the most notable victims of this was someone on TikTok named Greg, that was confirmed to suffer from a learning disability by his twin sister, and as she said herself, was still mentally 5 years old, who enjoyed watching Sesame Street and would use puppets on TikTok as an outlet. But since nothing is sacred, Cierra, like a shark smelling blood, decided that this guy should be her next victim, and while at first she was only virtually violating his puppet named Stan, reacting and duetting his videos where she would express her love, but she would eventually try to date Greg as well. But of course when I say date, I mean harassing him on TikTok until he finally caved in, taking advantage and manipulating this guy who obviously couldn't consent. But of course, knowing that word is her kryptonite, it's not really a surprise that this lead-drinking gnome with an extra chromosome would virtually molest people over the phone. And throughout all of this, he would be continually harassed by her, demanding 24/7 attention, whether that be in the comments or in her TikToks. Once he even commented that they should just be friends, but she got angry at him and told him to replace it with a nice comment, which is the most sad act of her trying to satisfy her fragile ego that I've seen throughout all of this. It feels like a joke straight out of Family Guy, having a tantrum over her TikTok e-boyfriend having boundaries. But what's even worse is that her haters and trolls would go on to harass him as well, instead of doing things such as getting a job or doing anything to actually contribute to society, which would cause him to break down to his sister, making her reasonably enraged, and she would make an angry video calling out everyone who was harassing him, though she would make a calmer video later, apologizing about the angry rant, though still calling the people out. But honestly, I think it was completely justified. Like, that isn't punching down, that's punching at the goddamn ants at your feet. Cierra in general had quite the strange obsession with puppets, whether that be her making out with them or treating her so-called partners like one. And if that doesn't make you want her to have her hard drives checked enough, the cherry on top is the fact that she calls the people she has a crush on her quote-unquote little brothers, which that combined with everything else is pretty disgusting. But then there's potentially the worst of all of this, where allegations would float around that she was inappropriately texting minors, and she would respond with a song that would make even a deaf person want to turn it off.
I'm not a pedophile, I was just being nice at a 15-year-old.
Do you suffer from a lack of a father figure?
Where she would talk even more about her boyfriends and state that she isn't a pedophile. Now, of course, neither side had any sort of proof of this, but later things would get much worse when her account manager locked her out of her account, who would then post a TikTok claiming that Cierra was secretly inappropriately texting minors, saying that they've had many people come forward and that they know that it's true. However, they say that they want to keep them private as they continue working on an investigation, so there isn't any evidence or screenshots. However, knowing how she's been and the fact that this is by an account manager, I do find these to likely be true. However, until it's fully proven, we can't really say anything right now. But even if it doesn't turn out to be true, she's still shown to be an abusive and manipulative person, and she really shouldn't be on the internet for her and everyone else's sake. But knowing how persistent she is to stay online, and the fact that she's made new accounts every time she's been banned in the past, I find it likely that she will or already has made alt accounts. So unless she ends up in the supervision of someone who will make sure she stays out of trouble, or if she does end up being a toddler fondler in a prison cell, she'll likely to continue doing this over and over again. And at the time of recording this, I still haven't seen anything on the results of the investigation nor any evidence. So until then, that's all I have to say for now, so bye.